Good morning again. I'm Victor, one of your trainers here at Gleneagles, and I'm here sweating in my garage. Apologize for not having a shirt on, but we're going to actually need this one for demonstration purposes. Hope everybody's doing well. We're going to cover today something called the scapulothoracic joint, or better yet, just the scapula, which is known as your shoulder blade. Okay, we're going to talk about protraction, retraction, elevation, depression, and I'll just give a tidbit on upward and downward rotation as well, all right? These are different motions that you will find throughout the actual shoulder blade itself. So, not to make this long, I'm going to come up a little closer. We're going to take a look at these specific motions from the posterior region, and I should be standing in the right spot, I hope. And what I want you to think about here is squeezing shoulder blades back first. Many of you have probably done this, but I want you to really think about this in the sense of a little more focus. Squeezing, holding that squeeze. And imagine you're bringing those two together. Hold that there for about 5 seconds. Focus on your breath. Keep your midline engaged. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to slowly do the exact opposite. Okay? Imagine you're almost drawing the inner part of your chest inwards and the arms across on the opposite sides. Almost like you're rounding your back on purpose, or round the shoulder blades that is on purpose, not the back, okay? The shoulder blades that is. Let's do that one more time. Let's squeeze the shoulder blades back. You're going to draw those hands away from one another in that X-like fashion. Good squeeze and hold. And then go ahead, draw it in again into protraction. So that's going to cover both the retraction and protraction portion of it. Retraction being the squeeze back. We call it adduction of the scapula, or abduction, which means away. You're pulling it into protraction. Now, we're going to talk about elevation depression, pretty much exactly as it sounds, up and down. Ready? So, we're going to go ahead and draw the shoulders up to the ears. So the shoulder blades will actually come upwards, and then you're going to go ahead and depress downwards. I want you to kind of focus on a little more of an active contraction here as you do this downwards. Keep going down, and imagine you're squeezing those lats in a downward fashion. Draw it back up. Remember to breathe for me, alrighty? Hold it, and then bring it back down. Very nice. Okay, so we have now protraction, retraction, elevation, depression, and then we're just going to target the upward and downward rotation, which basically means we're going to, imagine we're drawing the arm upwards. The scapula will tilt upwards, and then as you come back down, you will have that downward rotation, already? So that's important to think about how the actual motion of the shoulder blade goes when you're doing these actions, okay? Now, just a little exercise to piggyback off of these so you can practice. You're going to combine the four, okay? We're going to do the protraction into elevation. We're going to retract and then depress downwards with the shoulders. We'll do that 5 times forward and then 5 times back, okay? I'm going to only do it once, nice and slow. I'll show you the posterior and then the anterior view, okay? So, let's go ahead, arms across the shoulders. Slowly draw the midpoint of the chest inwards. As you're rounding the shoulder blades, there's your protraction. You're going to go ahead, you're going to elevate from there, squeeze the shoulder blades back, retract. The arms will find themselves separating, the hands will themselves. Down into depression, that's one motion, okay? Now we'll go ahead and we'll retract back after you've done the 5. Squeeze the shoulder blades back as you're still depressed. You'll begin your elevation, and you're going to slowly go ahead and start rounding the shoulder blades again to protraction. If you're doing these enough, you'll find yourself sweating like I am. It's pretty warm in here in my garage, 85 actually to be exact. But these are important. And the reason I say these are important is because you have to think about your posture. You have to think about the way you stand. I will show these from the side real quick, and then I'll show from the front actually so you can get a better view. And then I'll actually show you how this works in a practical sense in the gym with your press and your pull motions, which is also pretty important as well. So I'm standing in place. I'm going to draw the arms across. I'm going to protract right there. I'm going to elevate, squeeze my shoulder blades back as I retract downwards into depression. And then I'll do the exact opposite, maintain that downwards force into the retraction, squeezing the shoulder blades back, upwards, and then into the protraction. You will find a lot of contraction going on here if you're doing this correctly, okay? Shoulder blades. You probably see the involvement of my upper back muscles. You'll even feel the chest muscles, the pectoral muscles working there as well. We'll do this one from the front now, all right? Same thing. So I want you to bring the arms across. You're going to round, elevate, retract back, and downwards. And then you'll do the exact same on the backwards phase, right? Try these. These are important. I explain how I can implement these into a press pull motion. Watch me from the side. If I'm doing a press, such as a push-up, I've started in a retracted position. Let's assume that I'm on the ground. I'm going to go ahead and press. Now, as you see here, I've pretty much stopped my shoulder blades. If I wanted to go a little more, there's the protraction we did earlier, right? That's the arms across. Now I'm going to slowly go ahead, retract back my shoulder blades as I'm drawing back. That's as if I was doing a row. Let's say you're holding an object, you're pulling, and you're squeezing the shoulder blades back. Pay attention to that. That's an important one because a lot of times folks will pull and they're going to maintain this forward position of the shoulder, the actual humerus itself, draw forward, and you find yourself still in a protracted position. This is not a beneficial motion if you're really trying to focus on squeeze and posture and whatnot. So, not to go any further with it, practice these motions. I'd say do 5 into the forward rotation, 5 back, and play around with a little bit of upward elevation, downward elevation if you don't have any shoulder issues. That's important as far as mobility goes for the shoulder, reaching up for objects, even pressing exercises, that is. But the 4 that I gave you in that routine, I want you to really work on those. Take your time with them, focus on your breathing. If you feel or hear what we call crepitus, little crunchies, as long as there's no pain there, you'll be just fine, okay? You may feel the clavicle, the collarbone itself, maybe a little pop here or there. Make sure there's no pain. As you go back with the shoulder blades, in between the shoulder blades, you may feel some restriction there as well, all right? Take your time with them, don't force positions, and let me know how it works. Have a good one now.